As a web developer, it is important to be aware of the way that your website is being shown for people with different devices. Some people may visit your website on a mobile phone, while others may use their laptops or tablets to explore your website. So in today's video, we are going to dive deep into media queries in CSS, and we will make our pages responsive. Media queries are a popular technique for delivering a tailored style sheet for different devices. Welcome back to ProgBytes. If you're eager to dive deep into web development and programming, this channel is made for you. If you enjoy what you see, make sure to like this video and subscribe to this channel. Well, to better understand the goal of media queries and why you need to use them, I'm going to consider a simple example here, and I will explain each part as I go ahead. But first thing first, why do we need to know or use media queries? Well, actually the answer is simple, because we can display our pages exactly with the same styles for different devices. So in a mobile screen, for instance, we have a very thinner and a smaller space to show our content than a laptop screen, which means we can't just expect our content to look nice on a mobile when we have arranged the content based on a laptop screen size. Well, that makes sense, doesn't it? Well, first let me write the example and then it will make more sense. As you can see here inside my page, I have a div for the class of size, and that's in here in the right corner, this blue one. It just displays the current width of my browser, and that's because I have added some JavaScript code here, and this is the code that displays the current width of my browser. So let's ignore this for now because it's not the JavaScript course. Next, I have a div with the class of container, and inside this container, I have another div with the class of mobile, and this text that I'm designed for mobile, and you can see them here. And actually, I have added some basic styles here to make it look nicer. And the logic of our example is to have different divs representing different devices. You can see this mobile, it represents the mobile devices, for example, just for demo. And next, let's copy this mobile thing and let's paste it here, and let's change this class and this text here, because this will be representing the tablet devices. And let's paste it 2 more times, and it should be representing the laptop screens or laptop devices, so laptops. And in the last, I want to have a div for the class of other, and this will be representing all of other larger devices like TVs or LCDs and so on. So let's give it an other class and others text. So now let's jump into our CSS, and we want to hide all of those divs which are here, and then we will show a specific div or a specific device based on their corresponding screen size. For example, if it is very small, it should just display I'm designed for mobiles. And then if we, for example, bring our browser like this, if we expand it in this size, it should display that this is for tablets. And if we make it bigger like this, it should display I'm designed for laptops and so on. So I think you got this. So let's hide all of this content. I want to select my mobile, then my tablet, then my laptop, and then dot other, and just I want to display them none. So now you can see that they are gone. And now it's time to talk about media queries and how to write media queries. Actually, it's very simple. For creating a media query breakpoint, we should write at and then media, which means that this is a media query breakpoint. And then we should specify a media type. There are 3 types of media. So the first one is print, and this is for printer devices. And this is used when we want to have a specific design when our pages are getting printed. So if we want to have a specific design for printing our pages, so we can specify those styles inside this print type of media. Then we have speech, and this media type is for screen readers. And then we have screen, And actually, as a web developer, this is the media type that you will be dealing with in whole of your life. And this is the most important media type for us as web developers. So let's keep it screen, because we are writing styles for the devices that are the type of screen. For example, mobiles, laptops, tablets, TVs, and so on. So next we should write and, because we want to combine another condition here. So the first condition was that the type of device should be the screen devices. So these devices that do have screens. And then we want to have another condition here inside these brackets. Inside these brackets, we should write media features. And there are a bunch of media features, but the most important ones are the min width, max width, and also orientation. And by using media queries, actually we can even detect the orientation of the device that our pages are displayed on. For example, if the device is in a landscape mode or in a portrait mode, so we can kind of style them differently based on the orientation. So let's, for example, write the max width. So this is the media feature that we should specify the maximum width of the device that we want to style inside this media query breakpoint. So let's, for example, write 550 pixels. And then after these brackets, we should open curly braces. And everything that we will write inside these curly braces, they will be applied for the devices that this condition is true on them. For example, they should be the media type of screen and their maximum width should be 550 pixels, which means that they should be smaller than this. So we can say that this kind of device is a mobile, a cell phone. So because they are smaller than 550 pixels, so it makes sense, I think. However, we can be more specific here. For example, we can write only here, and this only has two meanings actually. So the first meaning is that it tells the browser that, hey, only apply these styles for this type of device. It makes it a little specific. And the second meaning of this only is that it ensures that these styles will be applied for the browsers that they understand media queries. Actually, probably the older browsers might not understand and know the media queries. So it kind of ensures that these styles will be applied only if the browser understands the media queries. Otherwise, it will ignore these styles. So the next thing that we can have here is not. And this is for negating the condition. Actually, right now, this not completely negates this condition, which means that these styles that we will write here, they will be applied for all of other devices except the device that has this condition. So it's just negating this condition. It's not so useful, or probably maybe. And the next thing about the syntax of media queries that I want to mention is that we can combine as many conditions as we want. For example, just we can separate them by and keyword, and then inside this braces we can write another condition. So we will talk about it in a bit. So let's clear this. Right now we have written a correct media queries breakpoint. So this is the styles that will be applied for the devices smaller than 550 pixels. So first let's make our browser thinner and 500 pixels. And then inside this media queries, let's select our mobile. I want to display it back to block. So you can see that now it shows the mobile div here because this condition is true right now. So we have said here that these styles should be applied for the devices that are smaller than 550 pixels. And that's true right now because we are in a 500 pixels. If we expand our browser, however, you can see that it is 555. Now it's gone because this condition is no longer true right now. So now let's change some of the styles here. For example, let's select our container and change its background color. So let's give it something like this, maybe darker. Yeah, probably good. So now let's select our dot type, and that's this border thing around this mobile text. Let's give it a padding. I just want it to look like mobile, so let's give it a padding of 100 pixels from top and bottom and 10 pixels from left and right, so it's looking like a mobile. And let's give it a background color of black, so 000. So this is some of the styles for our mobile screens. So we want to display something like this in a mobile screen. So now let's create another breakpoint, another media query breakpoint. Actually, we can just copy this, or let's write it from scratch. So I want to have another media type of screen, and this time let's bring our browser in a larger size. So right now let's assume that this is a tablet screen. So let's write this device should have a max width of, let's say, for example, 700 pixels. So this device should be smaller than 700 pixels. So its maximum width should be 700 pixels. And let's select our .tablet and display it to block. So now it shows that I'm designed for tablets. And let's change this type .type thing. Let's give it a padding of something like 40 pixels and 60 pixels. So now it's looking like a tablet. Let's zoom, and let's give it a background color of something like blue. Now this is a design for a tablet screens. So you can see that it is 677, and if we make it larger, if it's overstepping from 700 pixels, it just hides the content. And actually we have forgotten to change the background color of container. So let's select our container and change its background color to completely black, for example. So this is looking like this. Now let's just copy this, and we want to change the conditions here, the media features. And first let's bring our browser, expand our browser to something like this right here. So this should be the screen of a laptop. So let's make it 1000 pixels, and instead of tablets, let's select our laptops, displayed in block. Type of this should be a little larger, for example. So this is something like laptops. Actually, let's keep it 50 pixels, and let's change its background color to a different value. So this is the background color, and also let's change the background color of the container too. So now you can see that it shows that I'm designed for laptops. So it shouldn't be necessarily true, because the laptops are wider than this, but this is just an example. So you can see that if it reaches the 1000 pixels, it just hides the content. And if it is less than 1000 pixels, it displays the laptop thing. So next, let's select our other. So I just want to duplicate this once again. And this time, instead of using max width, we want to use min width, because we don't want to care about the maximum width. The maximum width could be anything, but we want to care about the minimum width. So if the device is larger than 1000 pixels, so we consider it to other stuff. So for example, TVs or this sort of stuff. So let's change this background color to a different color, so something like this one. And actually let's change this to 3080 pixels, and let's change the background color to a red color. So right now this condition is not true, because we are under 1000 pixels. But if we cross the 1000 pixels, you can see that it displays that I'm designed for others. and it shows that this is a larger screen. And you can see that it's 1041 pixels. And if we keep increasing the browser, it will never change, because we have said that we care about the minimum width. So if the minimum width is 1000 pixels, so we consider it the other stuff, and we haven't specified the maximum width, so it will be always true in this case. But there is a problem here, because if we decrease our browser size, you can see that it is other, and now it's laptops. And the problem is here that if we bring it to something like this, now the two conditions are true, because right now it is 663, and this condition is true for both of laptop and tablets. You can see that for tablets we have said that we want to apply these styles for the devices that are smaller than 700 pixels, and we have said in the laptops that we want to apply these styles for the devices that are smaller than 1000 pixels. So it asks a question that, is this device smaller than 1000 pixels? And the answer is yes. So this is true. So it displays the laptop things here. So I'm designed for laptops. And then there is another question. Is this device less than 700 pixels? And yeah, that's also true. This is 663. So these both conditions are true. So therefore it displays both of them. And if we shrink it more, you can see that now all of the conditions, all of these three conditions are true, because we are in a 505 pixels, and this condition is also true because it is less than 550 pixels. So right now it displays all of these three divs or three devices, and that's not what we want, right? So if we want to be more specific, actually we can, as I told you before, we can combine these conditions as much as we want. So we can combine it right here. So for example, let's come to our laptop thing here. We want to consider a device as a laptop when it is between 1000 pixels and, for example, something like 700 pixels. So we can consider it as a laptop. So we can just simply write another AND, which means that we want to combine another condition in here too. And this time let's specify the minimum width that we expect this device. So let's write minimum width, and this should be 700 pixels. So because we want to say that the device that is between 700 pixels and 1000 pixels, this is probably a laptop. So this will be more accurate, I think. So right now you can see that it shows that I'm designed for mobile and I'm designed for tablets, which means that the first problem is solved. The laptop's gone for now. And if we bring it back, however, you can see that now it shows because it is in the right size. So let's bring it in a tablet, actually right here in a mobile screen. And now let's add some other condition in the tablet screens too. So we can simply write and inside these brackets we can write the minimum width. So we want to recognize a device as a tablet when it's between 700 pixels and 550 pixels, for example. And so we say that if the device is at least 550 pixels and its maximum width is 700 pixels, so that's probably a tablet. So it will display these styles, or it will apply these styles. And you can see that right now it displays the mobile because these two conditions are false. Actually, these three conditions are false. And now only this condition is true. So I think now the problem is solved. Right now I'm in 500 pixels, so it should show the mobile stuff. And if I expand my browser, you can see that now it only shows that I'm designed for tablets, and that's correct because we are under 700 pixels. And if we are jumping over 700 pixels, you can see that it shows that we are I'm designed for laptops, and that's correct too. And if we go further, you can see that it shows that I'm designed for others. So I think the problems are completely solved. Now we have completely different styles in different browser size. And in the last, let me explain the orientations here. So here we say that this is the media type of screen, and the maximum width should be 550 pixels. So this mobile screen. And this time let's specify a different condition. We want this condition to be true if the orientation is also, for example, landscape. So right now you can see that we are below 550 pixels, but it doesn't show the mobile div here, and that's because right now the orientation of our browser is not landscape, it is a portrait. And I can show you. You can just right click to inspect and bring the Chrome's developer tools, and then right here you can see this option here. If I click right here, so you can see that it shows a different screen for me, and right here I can pick any device that I want. So this is, for example, an iPhone screen size, so it will be very accurate, or I can just select responsive so that I can have my own screen size. So let's make it very small like this. So right now it doesn't show anything, but if we click here that it turns the device to a landscape, you can see that it shows now the mobile stuff. You can see that now it shows that I'm designed for mobile, because now it is in a landscape mode. If I turn it back to a portrait mode, you can see that it doesn't show anything. So if we bring it to landscape, now it shows that I'm for mobiles. I'm designed for mobiles. And that's because we have set here the condition that if the orientation is in a landscape, so you should display these styles. And next we have another condition here that if the device is under 550 pixels, and that should be the type of screen devices. So anyways, let's close our developers tool and bring our browser back, and let's delete this condition too, or we can just change it to portrait. So now you can see that it shows these styles for me. And yeah, this was all you really need to know about media queries and making responsive websites. I hope you learned something new today, and if you did, then don't forget to like this video and subscribe to this channel. Thank you for watching and have a nice time.